Okay, so hello everyone. So I feel like I've just been away from the world for so long, but at the same time, like it doesn't feel like it's been that long. So it's just really weird. But I felt like the best way to do this was just to kind of make a video just explaining like what's been going on and why I haven't reopened the salon yet. And I've honestly just been kind of like MIA, like just kind of off the grid. And honestly, it's been amazing, but I just want to kind of explain like my heart behind everything and just give you all an update. So I felt like this would be the easiest way to reach the most amount of people. I'm definitely like the kind of person that I do better like talking than I do like texting, or I just feel like I can't get my point across. So of course, as many of you know, April 1st was when the governor made the announcement that salons in Florida had to close. But the night before, I actually found out I was gonna have to close. So this was before I knew that it was gonna be like a mandatory closing, and a lot of you know why, and I'm not going to talk super openly about all of that because it's not my story to tell. So either way, I would have had to close the salon because on the 1st, the governor made the announcement that salons in Florida would have to close. So I went ahead and canceled all my appointments for the next 2 weeks because, I mean, they didn't say, maybe they did. Honestly, my days just have run together. Like, I think maybe they did say it would be until April 30th. Either way, I guess I went ahead and canceled all my appointments until April 30th. But I kind of did it like a week at a time because it was just a lot. Like, I'll get more into that later. But the backlash that myself and the people that I am so close to received from all of this, it was very difficult, but I'm so thankful for it. We're all thankful for it, and like wouldn't change anything. But it honestly just taught me so much, and there's so much fruit that has come from everything that we had to go through and had to face as a result of like what all happened. And I would really love to go into detail about all of this more later because I definitely feel like we have a lot to share, and I feel like as God's children, like that's our mission, is to like share the hardships that we've had to face and that we've grown, you know, that God has grown us from, and to share that with other people to strengthen them in whatever they may be going through. But that's another story. So quarantine was rough to say the least, but I wouldn't trade any of it. Like, I'm so glad from everything that I had to go through, and just like where I am now from the little bit of just craziness that happened. So moving on, after that, we still weren't allowed to open the salon. So like after quarantine for 2 weeks, like there was still, I guess, another 2 weeks that we weren't allowed to open. So I assumed, they said April 30th. So I just assumed like, okay, so May 1st we can open. So I, you know, had already like canceled all these appointments for the month, put them in places, like packed them in for the month of May, and then was planning to reopen on the 1st, which was like a Friday. And it kept getting like farther along in the week, and like they still didn't say anything. So I finally was like, okay, well, they obviously like we aren't gonna be able to open this week. So I think maybe that's when they made the announcement that they were like gonna slowly reopen, and that like restaurants and retail stores were first. So then I went ahead and canceled for that Friday and the whole next week. And towards the end of that week, like they still hadn't said anything. And honestly, like rebooking people a week at a time and like just having to move them back and then move them back again and then move them back again. It was just like mentally exhausting and it was just really tough. So all these appointments like just started piling up on top of each other, and I was like, you know what, like I'm sick of like having to keep rescheduling people. And so it was like towards the end of that week, like maybe it was like Thursday or something, and they still hadn't made the announcement that we could open. And I'm like, okay, surely like we're not gonna be able to open next week because they still haven't made the announcement. And so I remember I was like riding in the car, and I think I had like gone to get groceries or something. And I specifically remember just thinking to myself, I was like, you know, maybe I should just go ahead and plan for June because it's already like the second week of May. They still haven't made the announcement. So maybe I should just go ahead and plan for June. Then there's like no more question about when I'm gonna be able to reopen. It's not like a waiting game anymore. Like I was just sick of playing the waiting game, and I just needed like a date to say like this is when I start back, because I just didn't know what to do, like where to reschedule people and all that stuff. So at least that gives me like a date to be set on. So I remember when I said out loud, you know, maybe I'll just wait till June. I just got this like overwhelming peace. Like God just gave me this peace, and I just knew that like that was what I was supposed to do. So I was just overcome with joy. Like I knew that was like He was telling me, like just confirming, like just do it, just wait till June, like just enjoy the rest of this time with me. Like He had just been giving me so much wisdom and so much growth, and I just really felt like He was calling me deeper and wanted me to just finish out the rest of the just quarantine with Him. And so I was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and text everyone, you know, and tell them that I'm just gonna wait till June. So of course I waited around and I didn't do it. So the next day, Friday, I mean all day long, they still didn't make an announcement, and I was like, okay, like this is just confirmation, like they're not gonna say we can open. And I had people scheduled for the next week. So then of course, before I could get around to texting everyone, they made the announcement and said that we could reopen on Monday. Now they made this announcement on Friday at like 4 o'clock or something. Okay, so you have 2 days to do all this like rescheduling and reworking, and it was just insane. So I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna take this whole week to just move everyone, get everyone situated in an appointment slot, and like clean the salon, get everything ready. So I did that, and of course, like you're never gonna be able to make everyone happy, and that's okay. So, but everyone was very understanding, but I did that. And so then I was like, okay, I really want to go see my husband. Like most of you know, my husband, he works out of town. He's a welder. He is working in Louisiana right now. But anyway, he's hardly ever home. Like I hadn't seen him in, I don't even remember how long it had been at that point. And I was like, okay, well, this is perfect. Like I'll go see him this weekend, and then I'll start back to work next week or whatever. So I didn't even think about it. Florida was starting to reopen. I did not know there would be all this stuff. So, but I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, so I decided to go see my husband. Like he needed me to bring him some stuff anyway, so it was just perfect. So I left. I realized there was a checkpoint, but I mean I didn't really think anything of it. I mean I was like, that's kind of weird, but it was only coming back in, not going out. So I got to Louisiana and then was just kind of talking with some of his friends that had already been back to Florida. My husband at that point like hadn't been back to Florida. He had only been to Louisiana. So I was talking to some of them, and they're like, yeah, you have to go through this checkpoint, and they ask you if you've been to Louisiana, California, or New York, I guess the hot spots. But like I don't watch the news, so I don't know all of this, and I honestly had just been like completely off Facebook and Instagram and all social media. So then I find out basically that if you've traveled to any of the hotspot states, that you still have to quarantine. Well, or self-isolate for 2 weeks. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. But regardless, I still wanted to go see my husband. Even if I had known that, I probably still would have gone, because if I've learned anything through all this time alone with God, it's what is truly important to me. And family comes first. And so I needed to go see my husband, and I did, and I don't regret it at all. I went to see him, and coming back, I knew that I guess I was gonna have to self-isolate. So it was the craziest thing though. Coming back, I was super nervous about going to the checkpoint because I just didn't know what to do or what to say. And I didn't know what they were gonna do. If I told them yes or if I told them no, what are they gonna do? So I was just super anxious about it. And my GPS took me around it. I got to the Florida-Alabama line and my GPS literally took me around it, hopped off right before you would get to it, and it put me back on the interstate after. And so, but here's the thing. Yes, I could have come back and pretended that I didn't go, but I felt like God at that moment was asking me to make a choice. And I felt like he was saying, okay, Michaela, I took you around this thing. You don't have to go through it. They're not going to tell you what you have to do. You're going to have to make the choice. You're going to have to make the decision. Either way, I knew it would be okay, but I knew that God had confirmed that he wanted me to wait until June to reopen. And so the fact that me having to self-isolate for 2 weeks would literally be June 1st, I would be able to start back to work. I was like, okay, there's no denying that that's a sign. And, it was so tough for me because I am such a people pleaser. But I feel like that's what God is trying to grow me out of as well, in this season, is that I can't please everyone, and that's okay. And I'm learning that, and I have to do ultimately what he wants me to do, to have peace about it. But I also need to be happy, in my heart with my decisions. And I'm happiest whenever I do what I feel in my heart that he wants me to do. So I felt like it was a defining moment for me that I had the courage and I had the wisdom to say, okay, I'm gonna have a lot of people mad at me, but this is what the Lord is calling me to do. And I can either go back to work and pretend this never happened and potentially miss out on something that the Lord's trying to grow me in and show me and tell me or grow me out of. Or I could be a big girl and possibly disappoint some people, but just know in my heart that I did what he wanted me to do. And I knew that I would never get this time back. There would never be another opportunity for this. I knew that if I didn't say yes to him, if I said yes to everyone else and I didn't say yes to him, then where does that leave me? When I got to Tallahassee, on the way home, I pulled off the interstate and parked in the Trader Joe's parking lot and texted everyone that I literally had people scheduled the next day. And I know when they're watching this, you're probably gonna be like, yeah, thanks a lot, Michaela. But I love y'all, and like I just thank y'all so much for being patient with me. But this is exactly why I wanted to make this video, to just tell you my heart behind it. But I literally sat in the Trader Joe's parking lot just like bawling my eyes out, because I feel like I was grieving the fact that I was like letting go of my identity, which I found in pleasing other people. So I'm like grieving that, but I'm also like just so filled with joy and peace from God that I did what He wanted me to do, and He was asking me to do something that was going to be hard, but it was going to be worth it. And so, it was just like this moment of just like grief and like sadness, but also just like pure joy and peace that just like washed over me, and I just can't explain it. Like, it was just amazing. But yeah, so there were so many people that were just so precious and so sweet, and they were like, I'm so proud of you, like you're doing the right thing, my hair can wait, you know, just super encouraging. And like I just love y'all from the bottom of my heart, and like y'all are just my people, and like I'm so thankful for y'all. And then of course, like there were people that were upset about it and said some things or didn't say anything at all or whatever, but that's okay. Like, I'm not upset with them. I'm not upset with anybody. Like, I'm just so happy and like have so much joy and peace in this time that I can't be upset with anyone. Like, I'm just, anyway. So with all that being said, like, whoever you were, if you were the one that encouraged me, if you weren't, it's okay. Like, and thank you, because you have no idea how much this has grown me. And this is something that I feel like the Lord showed me, that this is something, the wisdom that I'm gaining like in this season is something that's going to carry me into the next season and the next season, and it's just really cool. So I just wanted to like kind of explain what happened, like what's going on, why I did what I did. But yeah, like I also know that this whole deal is affecting everyone in so many different ways. And so like, of course there's that. Like, I don't have to feel guilty. Like, it's a pandemic. So like, if they tell me that I have to self-isolate, then I, you know, whatever. But it was more than that. Like, it was just the fact that I said yes to God, and He's shown me so much love and grace from that. And so yeah, that's where I'm at. And I will be reopening on June 1st. So it's just so like precious to me, because it's like a new start. It's like a fresh start. And I just feel like I am just refreshed, renewed, and reopening. So that's what I wanted to share. I'm so excited to get back into work and just see everyone. I've missed like talking to everyone. And that's like another thing that being isolated has like made me realize, is that like I get so busy during the week, like pouring into other people, that I haven't been pouring into myself. And yes, like I spend my alone time with God, and like that's the only way I get through my days, but I just truly haven't been pouring into myself. And like, of course, I know that my identity is in Christ, but did I know that as deep as I do now? No. Like, the things that I've had to go through and face through all of this, through quarantine and self-isolation and all this stuff, wow, like it's been so great. And so I just want to say that like this is just a true testament to how God literally takes what the enemy meant for evil and he turns it for good. Like, I love that song, and it is just so true, and I've seen it firsthand. And where I was going with that, I get sidetracked, but I just get so excited. But he has like truly shown me that my identity is in him. It's not in other people. It's not in pleasing people. Like, I always got so much joy and satisfaction out of saying yes to people and putting myself very last and putting everyone else's needs first. And I'm realizing that like that's not okay. Of course there are times when yes, like you need to do that, but not always. Like, I need to make sure that I'm okay before I make sure everyone else is okay. Like, I can't help someone else if I have not helped myself. And so that's just something that I truly feel like God has taught me in this season, is that my identity does not come from other people and what they say about me. It comes from him. And he is the truth. Like, so everything that he says about me is the truth. And like, everything that he says is good. Like, he says that I am beautiful. He says that I'm worthy. He says that I am enough. He says that I please him. Like, that he created me to please him. And so that is what I'm realizing that I have to do first, is please him. So, and he says that about all of you too. And like, all of your worth comes from him. And like, until you fully know that and stand firm in that, like, you haven't experienced everything that he has for you. And so I just encourage you to just really press into like what he's trying to tell you in this time, and to just really seek him, and he will show you and he will grow you. And if you need advice or you need support, like, I am here and I would love to help you. And that's like another thing that I feel like he's grown me leading up to like going back to work, is that I have so much that I can share with my customers, and every day can be fruitful if I choose to make it that way. So I'm just so excited for what's to come. Like, 2020 has been a year already. So I'm excited for like what's to come next, and I'm so pumped up, and I love you all so much. And like, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, like, thank you all so much for just all the encouragement and just all the sweet messages and all the love that like y'all have poured into my heart through this time. Because like, I knew that I was doing the right thing, but like, it's truly just like strengthened me and encouraged me in knowing that like I did what I was supposed to do. And thank y'all for being patient with me. It's been a struggle trying to get 2 months worth of appointments rescheduled. So I thank y'all. Like, y'all are the real ones for sticking with me, because like, y'all already know that I'm terrible at texting. So this whole thing has just been like a lot for me, but the Lord has just given me strength to power through, and I know we're gonna make it. Like, we're gonna get there. I'm gonna get you all in. But I just thank y'all so much for like having patience with me and knowing that like I'm gonna work you in. And so yeah. So I love you guys, and I will see y'all soon.